It's Jeff Black for Power TV Australia and My Music, and we've just had word today that Here We Go Again, the Chapter 3 concert, will be held again in Toowoomba come the 29th of September at Rumours International in Ruthven Street from 7 o'clock. Sir Geoffrey's People, Chapter 3 and special guest entertainer Little Paddy will entertain crowds late into the night.
Here we go again, my friend, telling you no lie. Here we go again, my friend, this time there's no goodbye. Ain't no rain, no love land, there's only you and I. Oh, here we go again, my friend. Here we go again, my friend. Feels like deja vu. Here we go again. Here we go again, my friend. This time there's nothing new. No more cloudy days. Only skies are blue. Oh, here we go again, my friend. Don't know exactly how, but it feels so right. Maybe we have found the answer. Maybe we have seen the light. Maybe we have seen the light. Oh, here we go again. Oh, here we go again. Oh, here we go again, my friend. Here we go again, my friend, cruising down the line. Here we go again, my friend, there's a lot more fun this time. You know that nothing matters, everything's just fine. Oh, here we go again. Oh, here we go again. Oh, here we go again, my friend, my friend, my friend.
I had the opportunity just a moment ago to speak to Kerry and Cole and Bob from Chapter 3 about the concert coming up and also their memories of Toowoomba, amazingly Bobby's memories of Vietnam, and also Zach's hotel in Toowoomba. Okay. Well, guys, here we go again with Little Paddy this year. Looking forward to it very much, and to have a great Australian entertainer like Little Paddy on the bill must be thrilling for you guys. You're going to have to stand back a little bit and become a bit of a backline for an icon. Looking forward to it?
Oh, it should be a great night. Great night, yes. Yep.
And now, have you performed with Little Paddy before? Have you played with Little? Yeah.
Yeah, on numerous occasions going back some years ago, Jeff. Actually, our first association with Little Paddy goes back to the days when we were renting a unit at Bondi in Sydney back in 1966. I think it was. Carol Jacobson, who was her manageress and Cole Joy's sister. Yeah, she brought Little Paddy over and we did some rehearsals with her there. And I think there was Bankstown, and I think we went to Dubbo. Was there somewhere else, Kerry? We did Oh, we did
Did
three.
a few places in Sydney. So, yeah.
Yeah, we did quite a.
Well,
Quite
she
a
must have
My
been very
views-
young.
oh, look,
She
yeah.
did 14, 15
Well,
at
that's
the
why
time.
she had.
Yeah,
That's why
she's
she had a
younger than us.
chaperone.
Yes, yes, she was chaperoned everywhere.
Yeah, no, she was, and
She's younger than us, and we were young.
She was. That was tiny Patty. That was before
Yeah.
little Patty.
But yeah, a dynamic little girl, you know, and I just think it's great that the management have decided to bring her up this year and add a little bit more flavour to our show. And she's somebody from the era that of the people that we're actually attracting to the concert. So
Cole and Jeff, my biggest memory, I don't know if you remember this, but it's very plain. When we were at Zach's in Toowoomba, the Zach's Hotel.
that's right. Yeah.
She was she was featured as a guest artist there
Yeah.
during the Toowoomba flood, the Brisbane floods.
Right, the 74 floods.
We took
yeah.
Ron Davies' truck down to the Bremer River, and they brought it across in a boat, and we brought it back up in the
I was
truck.
just thinking that, and I took her back that night with her piano player after the show.
Yeah,
Drove her back to Brisbane. Yeah.
Brought it
Yeah.
back up in
Memories
the truck.
from the
Yeah.
past.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
January 1974. That's clear in my memory.
Yeah, that's right. Yep,
Yep.
yep.
That's right.
So, you guys, I mean, iconic in Toowoomba. I think I can't think of another word to describe the impact that you've had as a band in Toowoomba. You are now iconic in the Toowoomba music scene.
Oh, you're so kind, Jeff. So kind.
But not just as Chapter 3 or the Defenders, but as a great backing band for other solo artists as well, because you're all good readers. You can pick up on a song and a hit pretty quickly and make the solo singer look really, really good. I seem to remember, was it John Blanchfield? I think he was more nervous than you guys were
That's
one
right.
time.
Yep.
Blanchfield, yeah.
Yep. We work with Johnny Blanchfield. Yeah. Look, there wasn't an artist that you would even call an artist back in those days that we didn't
back.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, the more you do, naturally, as these guys will agree with me, the better you get at it. And when you get tossed in the deep end like that, you've really got to sink or swim. But each success leads to a little bit more success. And as I've previously mentioned too, Jeff, the promoters became a little bit more comfortable with the fact of sending artists to Toowoomba when they knew that they could get the artist could get a respectable backing. You know, and,
It wasn't a train wreck. Yeah.
no, and these guys, I'm not talking about myself, but these guys are great readers and sight readers, and that was the situation. I mean, an artist would arrive at 20 to 11 of a night, for argument's sake, and we'd be thrown a set of 8 or 9 charts, 10 minutes behind the curtain, and you're out on stage doing it. So it was sink or swim, you know. But we got
And you
away
became
with
very comfortable with that.
Well, it was part of
Yeah.
our job, yeah, it was.
And Bobby, I wanted to ask you, your career in music took you to a war zone. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I was down in Sydney. I was in a band with Cole called the Templars up here, Jeff. And when Cole left to rejoin the boys in Sydney, I sort of felt a little bit out of it, and it just so happened at the time a show came through Toowoomba that was at the old Coronet Theatre. Ray Brown, The Whispers, Laurel Lee, I think, and I'm not sure who else was there, mate, but they were run by the agency at the time was the Harrigans in Sydney. They were probably just, up as one of the higher ranking ones.
Yep.
And anyway, the woman was there, and I just jokingly said to her, I said, if I came to Sydney, would I, get a spot in the band? Anyway, so down I go, and then I got very disillusioned, came back, joined these fellas, and left them for the first time. I got offered a job down in the Snowy Mountains with a chap by the name of Terry Gordon, who you might know Terry.
Yeah, yes.
Anyway, that lasted about 3 or 4 months, and I went to Sydney, and I auditioned for a job in a band there at the Rex Hotel at King's Cross. And we were there about 10 months, and part of the deal was that they were going to Vietnam, and I thought, well, my God, do I really want to go? And I thought, well, if I don't go, what am I going to do, sort of thing, And of course, they say to you, and the agencies down there, I think, should they should be put over the coals about it those days, because they sort of said, "Oh, you're in no danger."
Yeah, okay.
You know,
okay,
there's
yeah.
Americans everywhere,
Where
and
it-
allies, the whole bit. You know,
The
and
stage is guarded.
and oh yeah, and then the first night, I remember we were sitting in the villa in Saigon, and someone got shot down the corner, and I thought, well, here we go, this is good fun.
Oh, dear.
And this went on and on and on, and we actually got rocketed and mortared 5 nights in a row at a place called Cu Chi, and I thought, well, this is great. I'm in no danger here, you know. It's just,
Yeah, show me some danger.
Dodging the shrapnel, you know, but. It was a great experience, Jeff, and,
Yeah.
and one I look back on now, and I'm glad I did it. If somebody asked me to do it again, I'd tell them where to go, well and truly. But absolute great.
Yeah, and I mean, we hear the stories about, you know, Nancy Sinatra and Bob Hope doing those tours. Did the soldiers enjoy it? Did the soldiers appreciate what you were trying to do?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, mate. The Bob Hope show actually came over there when we were there. It was invitation only to the soldiers. Some guys would miss out in the same platoon and that company, and they weren't real happy about that. But they, it was as I said, invitation. A lot of the Australian acts went to like Vung Tau.
Vung Tau, yeah,
and that's where the Aussies were. But we did the American bases, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. We thought it was good money back then, and it probably was. But you know,
yeah, I mean, a special time, a scary time.
Absolutely.
But certainly special that you know, we don't think of bands, you know, playing in not far from the front line.
Well, you know, I remember one show we did. It was 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was on the side of a hill. Out in the bush, you know. Normally we had a stage, but we didn't have one. And like we're up on this hill, and I'm standing there on this lean with this organ thing, and it was an artillery base, and they decided to fire a salvo about 6:15. Well, I leapt about 14 feet in the air, and I was a nervous wreck, and I'm waiting for the next one, which happened. And sure enough, I ended up in the same place. But it was an experience, you know.
Yeah, wow. Now, guys, I wanted to ask you about Zax, because Zax has been reborn in Toowoomba. So we now have Zax.
Right.
What about your time at Zax? Tell us about Zax.
Yeah, well, actually, that was through the Ron Davey era, and that was about the time, Jeff, when the transition from teenage cabarets to hotels was starting to take place.
21-year-old drinking.
That's right. And initially, all we wanted to do was play pop music to kids.
To kids, yeah. And all
to-
of a sudden you had this more sophisticated,
Well,
older
that's right,
crowd.
and we thought it was a bit of a backward step, because, you know, you'd have to change your style of music, but without realising it was exactly the same music, but it was being played in front of a crowd in a hotel, and hence the hotel scene took off. But Zax was a very, very strong night spot, and as Kerry mentioned before, that was one of the times that we backed Little Paddy there. And just back to Bob's involvement in Vietnam, quite coincidentally, Little Paddy was quite a strong entertainer back years ago.
The Jacobson organised a lot of that, didn't they? A lot
That's
of their
right.
people went over.
I think ATA is the name of
Yes,
the,
ATA.
That's right.
Yeah,
ATA is the name of the promotional group. And,
that's Cole Joy's.
That's basically, the Cole Joy or the Jacobson family, you know, which is the Cole
Just
Joy.
going back
Joy.
there, Kerry, they had a little thing on TV not long back with Cole Joy came on, and they were talking about the different situations. And do you remember Maureen Elkner?
Yeah.
Maureen Elkner,
Yes,
rack
she
off
came-
Normie.
Yes, that's right. She came on, and I remember her up with Peter. Got a photo of her in my
Got a
album.
photo
with
of
Peter.
her.
At the playroom, yeah.
that's right.
I remember Peter telling me that Peter was smiling because she was pinching his bum and while the photo was being taken.
Apparently she went over there and she said that one time that they were on stage and there was a hit the deck type thing.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
Bob, you talk about danger over there. You went with us in Marrickville and places like that.
The Sydney's western suburbs. Now, back to Zax for a minute, because you guys put a record out on the Zax label.
I was just going to bring that up. Yeah, Kerry wrote a great number, and I reckon we should do it at the concert this year.
Yeah,
A song called Voodoo Queen.
Yeah.
It's the first time that we, as Chapter 3, introduced brass and that into it. An original that Kerry wrote, and a very good one too. And Ron Davey at the time, who was the owner of Zax, saw fit to financially support the recording and the release.
Multimedia in Brisbane.
It's been Brisbane. That was about 73, 74, somewhere around there.
A bit later than that.
I think it might have been about 78.
Oh, okay.
Was it Kerry or
75? I thought about 75. Anyway, we'll look that one up.
A little bit later.
Yeah,
it's on the Zax label.
On the white Zax label, because I remember the B-side is a Vanilla Fudge song that you
No, it was a Spencer Davis
group. Please do something. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
And this is just a by the way. Ron Davies rang me and he said, "Have you done what the label's going to look like? We've got it printed in 3 days' time." So I designed that label.
Oh, you designed the Zax label, and I think it's ZAC 001, and I don't know that there was a 002.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting promotion for the new management up there. You know,
someone should go and say to them, "Hey guys, you called it Zax. Do you really know the history of this place?"
What a better bloke.
Ron Davies got that name from Vegas. He'd been over America and
That's right.
there was a Zax in Vegas, and he thought that's a great name for it.
So there we go. So that's where it came from. Ron Davey, the owner of the hotel at the time, picked it up from Las Vegas.
And Ron Davey himself also bought a lot of artists up to there.
Johnny O'Keefe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the whole works in Turks. The whole team that we ever saw back in that era, basically all of them came up there. You know, and it was the same old thing, Jeff. You know, I mean, they knew that they could come up there, and there'd always be a crowd. That was the big thing. I mean, there's a lot of country places. I suppose I shouldn't really call Toowoomba a country place, but
back then, back mid-70s,
you know, and we know from moving around ourselves that there's certain places it didn't matter who you'd put on. You could put Elvis Presley on, and you wouldn't get a crowd. But Toowoomba was always well known for the way the crowd would respond and roll along, you know, and look, they'd hang from the chandeliers, you know, it was always a good point for them to move their artists onto, you know. So.
And you made the point earlier, Col, and it's true that it was Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Toowoomba.
Exactly.
They were the entertainment hubs of the east coast of Australia.
Exactly, yeah.
And, you know, is Toowoomba living up to that today? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not quite sure. I'm not seeing the bands like the...
Look at it from this perspective. In those days, you could get a resident job in Brisbane for 6 nights a week and just be there.
That's right.
In Toowoomba, you could get a resident job for 4 nights a week. And those places were patronised 4 nights
a week. You wouldn't get that now. No, you wouldn't get that now.
You wouldn't find a band in Brisbane getting 6 nights a week. You wouldn't find any band in Brisbane.
And those 4 nights a week in Toowoomba wasn't restricted to one venue.
That's right.
Yeah,
I mean, there was the White Horse, there was the Zax, the Crown, the Matador, which was the old Ruthven Hotel, and the Wilsonton. You know, and those places all got crowds, and there were bands in there. The National Hotel, the old National down in Russell Street. You know, Toowoomba was extremely well catered for music-wise back in that era, and but as I say, the locals responded and supported
the band.
Exactly.
I think, and we must finish up, but I think that great musicians still live in Toowoomba, but I don't know that they've got the venues anymore to get out there and play their music. I think they're disappearing to Sydney and Brisbane.
Yeah, this is a big thing, Jeff. And I think it's right across the country. You know, I mean, back, say, in the 60s and the early 70s, there'd be a band on every corner, a crowd. You know, and but these days, you know, there's plenty of corners with no band.
Or karaoke, or you know, DJ.
Disco. We're still recovering
from the era of disco.
I can still remember that when we were down the coast, and that started to come in at that place we used to go to, and we used to drive up, and someone said, "Oh, there's a guy playing records up at." We said, really? You know?
Live music, please.
That's the way it goes.
So cool.
All right, guys. Well, thanks very much. We're looking forward to Here We Go Again on the 29th of September with Little Paddy, Chapter 3, Sir Geoffrey's People, and a great night here at
It
Rumours.
should be. It should
Absolutely.
be.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Yeah, thank you, Jeffrey.
Cheers.
Good on you.
The Toowoomba Hospital Foundation is a great supporter of the Here We Go Again concert series and beneficiary. I spoke to Stacey from the Toowoomba Hospital Foundation about the work that they do and their involvement with this year's Here We Go Again. Well, Stacey, we're here for the fourth now Here We Go Again concert series featuring the great bands from Toowoomba, including Chapter 3. And over those past 3 years, into the fourth year this year, all the proceeds have gone to the Toowoomba Hospital Foundation. What's the Hospital Foundation been doing with those funds?
So over the last 3 years, the hospital's raised over, this event has raised over $67,000 for the Toowoomba Hospital. So that money has been spread over a number of areas, including oncology and also Give Me 5 for Kids appeals and campaigns. So it's helped out and supported the staff and the Toowoomba community over the last 3 years.
And you're throwing your weight again behind the concert series again this year, come
Yep.
September.
Yes.
And bookings through you guys or
Yes.
through the web?
So you can make a booking via our Toowoomba Hospital Foundation website, and you can just log on to there and have a look, and it will take you directly to where you can purchase tickets. Tickets are $45 per ticket. They go on sale today. We're really excited. We've got over 500 tickets available, so we're hoping that people will really embrace the event, knowing that we've got some great music artists coming this year.
And Stacey, the Hospital Foundation's become iconic in Toowoomba. What does it do?
The Hospital Foundation raises money specifically for the Toowoomba Hospital. So 100% of the money that we raise through donations goes back to the hospital. So we support, like I said, different units of the hospital, including the oncology unit, renal, the children's ward, special care nurseries. So we make sure that that money goes back into services and equipment that the hospital staff and patients need.
And Stacey, you've done a lot of different things too in fundraising, some pretty left field stuff as well.
We try to keep it really exciting so that that it's fresh and that people have something different and unusual to attend. We want people to come along to our events. There's no point putting on an event and it's the same event, happening over and over again. So we work really hard. We've got a great team who put a lot of thought into that.
Now, a request. What do you want the boys to play come the 29th of September?
Oh, goodness. It's probably a little bit before my time, but I did do some YouTube
research?
Yeah, I did. So we looked up Little Patty and I was familiar with some of her songs. So I guess that, feel-good music's great. Yeah.
The music of the 60s.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much, Stacey.
All right, thank you.
Cheers.
Here we go again, my friend, telling you no lie. Here we go again, my friend, this time there's no goodbye. Ain't no rainbow, love land, there's only you and I. Oh, here we go again, my friend. Here we go again, my friend. Feels like deja vu. Here we go again. Here we go again, my friend. This time there's nothing new. No more cloudy days. Only skies are blue. Oh, here we go again, my friend. Don't
Thank you so much.